Hi guys, how are you?
Good. We're excellent. How are you?
Doing great. So to start with a movie like this that is, at its core a family drama, but is also, has this mystery to it and you're trying and there's action sequences and there's all these layers kind of on top of it. What for you guys is the fun of getting to create this world and see it come to life through your vision?
Yeah, I mean, I think number one for us is the actors that we got to portray the roles, right? I mean, I think for us it's really exciting to see Orlando Bloom do something you haven't seen before, Andy McDowell do something you haven't seen before. We love Garrett Dillahunt, Scott Hayes, and then obviously Chapel Oakes, right, to come on and just crush that role.
Mhm.
Yeah, it definitely started with the script for us. So like we really enjoyed the script. We were pretty smitten with the family and the characters, and we really loved the cool villain and her henchmen. And we loved how the story was structured, how it sort of panned out. But to couple that, like thinking of those actors that we could put in those roles that would, sort of subvert your expectations and maybe take you into some places you didn't quite think those actors were going to go, got us really excited.
And as someone who went to Appalachian State University, it is very interesting to see just how many things people keep setting in the Appalachian area.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know any of this was going on when I was there.
Yeah, I don't,
But
I don't think it's happening around every corner. You know what I'm saying?
Just over that hill.
This is the
exactly.
fictional Appalachian.
But when you do have a setting like that, that is so specific, and like you do have like Andy McDowell who's from North Carolina, and you have people who like know the Appalachian areas so well. Did that pose any challenges for you guys of like honoring the fact that this is set in a small Appalachian town and they have a specific energy to them?
Yeah, look, I think Appalachia is like a catchphrase for a lot of things, right? I mean, for us, this takes place very much in like like a Louisville, Kentucky, like old bootlegger country, kind of hollers. That's where it takes
Which
place.
we did visit Appalachia because there was an opportunity to shoot there. It was like, do you want to shoot in Appalachia, which was a couple hours away, or do you want to shoot this in sort of the Knob Creek
Yeah.
bootlegging country of the probably the early 1900s? But so we looked at both places, and there's something about that bootlegging Knob Creek area that just really spoke to us with all the hollers, and it just really felt like the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I will say we got to spend a lot of time there. We obviously were there for pre-pro, which is a few months. We got to drive up and down those hollers and get to know a lot of really interesting, colorful people.
And so did Orlando and Scott. I mean, I think Andy's a lot more familiar with that area. Her growing up in Carolina, being born there, being, pretty well versed in that in a lot of the South. So she was super familiar with it. She was teaching us some things when she came on. And Orlando and Scott really immersed themselves. I mean, they spent weeks, getting to know a lot of locals. Orlando spent months on the dialect. I think Scott had done a previous movie where he had something similar, so he had something to lean on. But he's one of those guys that's like Scott's wandering around for weeks at a time and recording all these like local people, meeting them at bars, meeting them at
Yeah.
restaurants, talking to them. Oh, I love your accent. Where are you from? What hall are you from? He loves to like deep dive into these characters. And yeah,
He,
that was a lot of fun to see them go to work.
yeah, they were going to like, visiting horse ranches and all this stuff to get the total immersion.
I love it. It's, my generation especially knows Orlando Bloom's from action movies, but this is like kind of a completely different thing for him because it's not just straight action like, Will Turner or Legolas. Like this is very, very different. How was it for you guys getting to work with him on like bringing that like drama that Cash has to life with those action sequences and making sure it is sold that like this man can do these jobs that he has to go on in those action moments.
Yeah, absolutely. For us, look, that time that we spend with the family and getting to know everybody, that for us is a critical part of giving stakes and and heft to those action sequences, right? So if you aren't invested with the family in that dynamic, you really won't care when the bullets start flying. So that's a critical part for us.
And then, of course, Jonathan Script did a great job of really building in that backstory slowly as the story unfolds, and you really getting a picture of what kind of dark character he was before you're now coming in on him. So, and as the movie progresses, obviously he sort of has to reach back into that past and summon those demons to get it done. And he does, which
Yeah,
was a lot of fun because you get to see Orlando sort of tilt back into uh, that demon that he can be.
yeah. I mean, you see him like straight off the top, right? Like doing his prison workout, essentially. So you're like,
Yeah.
okay, man, this guy's got some baggage. He's seen some
A lot of
things.
tattoos. Like there's something going on with this guy that he's got a past that he's probably not working at the corn dog shop in the mall. He's probably got a pretty heavy past.
Now I need Cash to be in like the corn dog outfit. It's
With
in
the
like the
spinning
food court.
sequel's coming. The sequel's coming.
Exactly. We got something for that.
But with a movie like this, I do love to, especially like when you're watching the trailer, it has those, I don't want to call them cheesy, but it has those action line moments where he's like, 3 jobs and then I'm done. And it like happens more
Right.
than once. For you guys as directors, is that fun to kind of lean into like when we are expecting those quote unquote cheesier moments from an action movie where you're like, yeah, say it again, dude. And it's, the most innocuous line possible.
I mean, for those lines, I mean, look, we're big 80s and 90s fans. You know, those are a lot of the movies we grew up on. And in a movie like this, I mean, like what we love to do is try to ground those lines, right? So you get those lines, and they're some of them can be wonderful, and some of them you're like, you know what, that one pushed it too far, or whatever. But we always love to ground those lines, and it's like, can you get those lines pushing the movie, pushing the plot, pushing the character, sounding badass, and like getting you wanting to root for either the moment or the character, and can you make them as grounded and real as possible?
I mean, we all bought Arnold with "I'll be back," right? I
Right.
mean, it's just in the canon forever. It's in the lexicon forever, and like, I don't know. Also, like, the trailer is the most out of context presentation of those lines, right? It's like plot point, bullet, bullet,
That's
bullet.
true,
You
yeah.
know, so they do come off a little more heightened in trailers.
That's true. And the music's pumping, and it's like 3 jobs. Da, 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 da. You're like, okay, this is a lot. It's going hard.
But I love it because it is like you said, it's like part of why we love those 80s and 90s movies is you're like, would anyone say this? Absolutely not, but I don't care.
Yeah.
This is very
I
fun
mean,
to watch.
Patrick Swayze gets away with saying nobody puts baby in the corner. I mean, that line is incredible, and that he was able to deliver it with that kind of like passion and satisfaction. You're like, yeah,
What we quoted,
nobody puts baby in the
it'll
corner.
be quoted to the end of time, and that's honestly, as a filmmaker, what you're trying to strive for.
You really are. You're trying to hit those moments that strike a chord somewhere deep in there, you know?
And with this, for you guys though, was there a moment when you are filming something that goes back and forth between like his darker past, the family drama, the action sequences? Was there something you guys had the most fun getting to shoot because it is so many layers on top of one another?
For me, it was all of it. Like I loved the juxtapositions, right? He's carrying cows around. He's like taking care of animals, feeding the cow, and like, working with the horses. And I mean, like there was a lot of great family moments in there, and the three of them, Chapel, Scott, and Orlando, were just so damn fantastic together. Like we really loved that family dynamic and seeing those scenes because they were really warm and caring to each other. And then we thought it did such a good job raising the stakes for you in those action sequences, which we always have fun shooting the action sequences because it's really exciting. So that it was fun building both of those sides.
And look, Ian and I've got pretty eclectic tastes. So, right when we were like, oh man, we shot a few back-to-back drama scenes. It'd be nice to shoot some action. Well, there it was. We're shooting action, and then we would shoot like a couple of days of action. Like, wow, really could use a dramatic scene right now. And then there it would come. So, for us, hopefully our shooting experience is going to echo for the viewer, right when you want a little something else, it's right there for you.
Yeah, and for our last question, with a movie like this, it's always, it's fun to get into the minds of these characters and also like we said before, like see the action sequences in the midst of all of it. What do you hope audiences take away when they get to see red right hand? I got that.
Yeah. No, you got it.
Yeah, I think I hope they take away, especially the way that it ends. I feel like there's definitely a sense of hope at the end of it and redemption. And I mean, look, as entertainment based as the movie is, it is dealing with some real issues like the opioid issue and
redemption
and a girl growing up without her mother.
Crisis of faith.
Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely a lot of like real themes and layers to the movie. Which I hope people can take away from it in a very entertaining way.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Rachel.
People to get
Rachel, good questions. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Have a great one.
You too.